Yes, what do I think? Mm, all right, we're live. Well, it's still private, you know what I mean? So it's no
Yeah,
worries.
yeah, I know you're gonna go back and do your thing.
Sure. All right, so hello everyone. What's good? Microsoft isn't. No, I wouldn't say that.
Please leave that in.
Oh man, people hate me for saying that.
Yeah, they will.
Oh my god. So Microsoft at Gamescom showcasing the Xbox One X games that are coming out for it. I'm currently playing Uncharted Lost Legacy. By the way, have you grabbed it yet, Josh?
Yes, I have.
Man, can't wait to talk about that. Woo!
Yeah.
Oh my god! And what are our most anticipated games for the rest of the year? So three topics we'll talk about. Um, we won't drown people with so much overlaid information. We'll just get right to the point and be as raw as possible. But we'll be pleasant. We'll be pleasant. So let's jump into the showcase at Gamescom. So Microsoft goes to Gamescom, and for me, it was more or less their last time of saying or explaining why we should buy the Xbox One X. Of course, I love more power. You love more power,
Mhm.
um, and so I was expecting them to just show something that was amazing. What was your take on their reveal at Gamescom?
I thought it was about the same as E3. It was pretty underwhelming. I mean, what they needed to do is, what you were saying, that they needed to really explain why I want this thing to the average consumer, and I don't think they did that at all. I mean, it's
Right.
it goes back to the same argument is exclusives. They don't have them. You need exclusives to sell console.
Right.
Period. Nintendo has them, Sony has them, and that's water always on top. So
Yeah.
I don't think they did a very good job of explaining why you want this thing whatsoever. I mean, people are
Mm.
still gonna go out and buy it. They have their hardcore Xbox gamers or whatever, but will it be a massive success? I doubt it.
Gotcha.
They're just
You
not
know.
giving a good enough reason.
Yeah. So Super Lucky Tales is not doing it for you.
No. Now, Cuphead is probably the best looking game that Microsoft has, in my opinion. Cuphead
Wow.
looks amazing. Anything else? I
Mm.
haven't really seen anything else other than maybe the sequel to Ori that's jumping off the screen at me. Other than that, like they're just not showing me anything that I'm interested in. I mean, because the whole argument with the Xbox One X is, yeah, it has more power, but what am I going to play with that more power? I'm going to
Mm.
buy this machine just to be a multi-platform machine. I don't think so. Not for 500
Mm.
bones. Like that's
Right.
that's too much, just to play, a multi-platform game at a little bit, higher fidelity or whatever. Granted, it will be multi-platform games will, in theory, run better on this thing because it's a beast.
Yes,
But
it is.
are you willing to spend $500 for that for somebody who's not a hardcore Xbox gamer? I don't think
Mm-mm.
most people are willing to do that. So
Right. Yeah. I think about those who have Xbox Ones who are dedicated to the system, who want to play the games like Gears of War 4, Titanfall 2, Quantum Break. Those games will be in 4K. Um, they're sand native, and anything close to it is great. Thinking about the experience that I had personally when I was playing Titanfall 2, and then I upgraded to the PS4 Pro,
mhm.
and in a 4K monitor, and Titanfall was like, whoa, it's much brighter, and I can see that guy across the map.
Yeah.
That's a kill. So it was a big difference. So for that gamer, I do see the Xbox One X being the next best thing for him. Um, because again, with the PS4 Pro, I remember I personally went back and played a lot of games that were optimized for it that weren't even actually 4K, but they were just optimized just a little bit. They weren't treated like Horizon Zero Dawn or anything, but they were
Yeah.
given a bump. One game in particular was Infamous First Light. I was like, wow. And then I went to first Infamous Second Son, and the lighting, the HDR was impressive. I'm like, wow. So on the Xbox One X, uh, I'm sure those gamers who buy it, like right now, we talked about this earlier before the show that people are buying this thing right now in hotcakes.
Oh yeah,
What's that? The Project Scorpio version is sold out in Amazon and some other retailers. You can still pre-order one, but for the most part, that's kind of
their day one edition is gone.
yeah, that it's gone. It's gone. It's
Yeah,
gone. And I was saying this earlier in the show that's going to be published sometime later this evening, where I gave my take on it on their show that it's going to matter what happens between now and then. It's selling like hotcakes now because it's fresh off of
yeah.
Gamescom. But at Gamescom, it's like sure the hardcore are going to buy the Xbox One X, as they should,
Oh, absolutely, yeah,
you know. But it's that thing of because at E3 when I saw Anthem running on the Xbox One X, um, in my heart of hearts, I was dude, I was so hoping that it was an exclusive Xbox game. I really was because
I
I'm
did
like,
too.
please be only on Xbox. Please be only on Xbox. And I was like, wait, this is made by BioWare. Forget about it. Forget about
Yeah,
it. This is
oh yeah.
not going to be an exclusive. And I was also thinking about the fact of, and tell me what you think about this. Like when you've seen games like Anthem running on the Xbox One X, we see a lot of multi-platforms running on the Xbox One X, like Assassin's Creed Origin.
Hmm.
And because I remember the guy over at Ubisoft, he mentioned that the Xbox One X version is the prettiest version. And I'm not gonna say he's paid to say that because he's on Microsoft's stage at Gamescom. But then again, it's like when I see these multi-platforms running on the Xbox One X next to a PS4 Pro version, um, the big question is it really $100 difference, right? We don't know because we haven't seen certain games side by side yet. What do you think about that?
Excuse me. I don't think it will be for multi platforms. Absolutely not. Like the difference will be negligible. You know what I mean? Like
Gotcha.
it may have like it'll be for instance. I know Assassin's Creed. It'll be things like draw distance. Things further out will be clearer and more visible. Things of that nature. And that's one of the things that they were saying will be improved. Is that worth $100? Absolutely not.
Good point.
Unless you're just hardcore into that. Now, let's say the coalition with their next Gears of War actually, excuse me, optimize that game for the X. Now that could
Right.
turn some heads. You know what I mean? Because they'll actually have the resources and the time to optimize for that hardware.
Right.
Whereas multi-platform developers, they're just not going to do it. I mean, case in point, PlayStation 4. If anybody's gonna get any special treatment, it would be them because I mean, numbers just don't lie. I mean, they're at probably 70 million consoles right now. If you want to jump on anybody's bandwagon, it would be them. And
Right.
Sony's had a really tough time getting games optimized for the pro. Not every developer is doing it.
Right.
So you think Microsoft with their 12 or 13
Mm,
consoles out there is just going to come in and shake up the waters? Absolutely
mm,
not. If they're not going to do it for a bigger
good point.
install base, they're definitely not going to do it for a small one. Now with the Xbox One X being thrown into the mix, that may help. I think it'll be good for both of them, to tell you the truth, because I think developers may have a reason to develop, to start to actually take advantage of this a little more. Like, okay, well, we got the Xbox One X version and the Pro version. Right now, it's just the Pro alone, and developers are kind of like, yeah, you know what I mean?
Right.
It's only a
Good
few
point.
that are doing it, but at the same time, it's like after playing Horizon in 4K, is
Oh my
this
God.
I'm not seeing $100 difference at all.
Yeah, that's yeah. Good point. You know,
I would be hard pressed to see them top that. Very hard pressed to see them top that.
that's what I'm looking forward to. I hope they do. And I think too that brings me to another point, and that's the fact of I don't think Microsoft. Okay, I understand the message at Gamescom of hey, backwards compatibility and all the games that you currently have in your library. I'm not trying to jab at them, but that was their message: backwards compatibility and all the games in your library right now. Library, we have about 100 games that you can take advantage of that are enhanced that takes advantage of the Xbox One X. Okay, that's how they're selling the Xbox One X right now. Okay, But the way they're really going to maximize the Xbox One X, in my opinion, is by um, showing those showing those first party games or second party games that take advantage of it. Because um, just recently, okay, in this case, this takes us kind of into, and we can go back and forth, Josh,
Mm-hmm.
into talking about Uncharted Lost Legacy. Now, I'm playing Uncharted Lost Legacy on the PS4 Pro right now. You're playing Uncharted Lost Legacy on the PS4 Pro. We both have 4K monitors. We're experiencing that. That looks absolutely eye-poppingly insane. In fact, it looks better than Uncharted 4 to me.
I
It
would
it
agree with that.
it looks just stunning, and it's a first-party game, and the beauty of that is it's only running on the PS4 and PS4 Pro. There is no competitive hardware that rivals that to say, hey, but this looks better here or this has better draw distance there. I can't determine that because there's no contrast. It's just the PS4 Pro version. If you have a Pro, and that's the maximized version. So, and at the same time, it looks better than most multi-platforms, if not all of them that I've
It
seen.
looks better than all
Like
multi-platforms.
any multi-platform, right?
Yeah, I haven't
So
seen one that comes close to it.
even as impressive as Assassin's Creed Origin looks, I know it's an open world game. It's many more assets moving around than Uncharted. I get that. However, looking at the Xbox One X version, and Xbox gamers are going to hate me for saying this. Hell, I'm an Xbox gamer, but I got to speak the truth. If you look at Assassin's Creed Origin right now, running on the Xbox One X, it's beautiful.
Yeah, yeah, it is. You can definitely tell that
It's
if you
beautiful.
can see a trailer in 4K, it is so crisp.
It's beautiful. But I challenge this though, Josh. I challenge you. I challenge you this. Does that look better than Uncharted Lost Legacy?
Oh, absolutely not. There's
It
not a
it, it
competition.
doesn't. It
Yeah,
doesn't.
there's not even a competition because I don't know, like whatever Naughty Dog is doing with their motion capture now, it's just insane. Like
It's
it's
bananas.
yeah, it really is. Like the characters are so lifelike. It's
Yeah.
I was playing it last night and I was telling my wife, I was like, man, this really makes me excited for The Last of Us Part Two.
Oh, can you
Like I can't
imagine?
wait to see what they do with that. Because remember
Right.
the last when we saw The Last of Us, it was running on their old tech. And to see it
Yeah.
brought forward to their new engine because they've built a new engine for The Last of Us.
I'm hearing
So,
that. Yeah. Yeah.
oh my goodness.
It looks amazing. So yeah, and it seems like Lost Legacy is nothing but an appetizer for law for
Yeah.
The Last of Us 2. And it's a meaty appetizer.
Yeah, I hate to say
Oh
that. I
my
hate to say that because
god.
it feels like I'm kind of denigrating Lost Legacy in a way, but it's I don't mean that by no means. Like it's
No, I
just
know. I know what you
when
mean.
you
I
see
get it.
them do what they did with it, you're like, God dang, I can't wait to see what they're gonna do with The Last of Us.
Yeah.
Because it's not
Yeah.
as fast. It's not as fast paced. It
No.
doesn't have the massive set piece moments. You can see them just ramping the quality to like 20.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. It's because it's a this is what Lost Legacy. It's a what DLC, a meaty DLC is
I
great,
don't
but
I don't consider the DLC. Like I think this
I
is
don't
this
either.
is
It's a standalone, standalone,
yeah this is
standalone.
more because
It's
what
a
is it
standalone.
like? Have you finished it yet?
I haven't. I'm almost finished with it. I'm about 7 hours in, man.
Yeah, 7 hours is not a DLC. That's a that's
No,
a
it's not.
game.
That's true. That's true. I'm 7 hours in, and it's yeah. You're right, and it's
Yeah, you're
fun, man.
7 hours in. You haven't even finished it yet. That's a game.
I'm
That's
gonna tell
not
you.
a DLC.
Yeah, there are times where I'll be playing it, and you know how Chloe can take pictures, but
Hmm.
and that's one thing I'm gonna talk about in my review. I don't like how the picture taking is restricted to what they allow you to take, and she does
Oh,
it.
you just want to get in there and just start snapping
I want to
everywhere.
have a horizon time because there's
Well,
times
there
where
is a photo mode.
there is a photo mode, but I love the fact that she takes out her her Sony Xperia and she takes pictures, and I wanted to control that,
Yeah.
because there's a scene in the game where she says, "Wow, there's just no bad view anywhere." She says that, the Chloe does,
Hmm.
and I was like, "My gosh, she's right." And my wife, she was like, "Babe, she's absolutely right. That looks incredible." Of course, my wife doesn't play video games. Your wife is a hardcore gamer. My wife, she plays. She maybe plays something on her phone, but she's watching me play Lost Legacy, and she was like, "Can you imagine 10 years from now what games look like?" So my point of saying all that is Lost Legacy. It
Lost Legacy will make you want to buy a PlayStation.
Yes,
You
it
know,
looks
because
that
you
good.
know you're not. Yeah, it looks that good, and you know you're not gonna get that experience anywhere else. Whereas nobody's gonna go buy an Xbox to play Assassin's Creed. Period. You know what I
You
mean?
don't think so? You don't think so?
Hell no, not to play Assassin's Creed. You know what I mean?
Huh.
You would just if you were doing that, it's because that's where your friends are and that's your ecosystem. You
Okay.
are not gonna go
Okay.
buy an Xbox One X
Yeah.
just to play Assassin's Creed. You're not gonna do that. It's just because you
Yeah.
can get it everywhere. You
True.
know what I
That's
mean?
true.
Like it doesn't make any
Yeah.
sense to do that.
Very
Because
true.
nowadays it seems like the majority of people's friends are on PlayStation. I
Right.
mean, 70 million consoles. It's hard to argue that.
Yeah. That's
You
that's
know,
unfair almost. Yeah.
this is a console that is for um, Xbox hardcore fans. That's what this is for. It's
Okay.
not for people that are on the fence. It is not for people that's looking to buy a new Xbox. It's for their hardcore fan base. It's the exact same thing that Sony did with the PS4 Pro. When they came out, they was like, "Look, this is not for everybody. This is a
Mm.
premium product for basically our hardcore gamers who want more out of their console. This is what this is for." You know, and that's exactly what this is for Microsoft. But granted, Sony had a much bigger install base to play with. You know,
True.
they had a lot more to offer that too. Whereas
Right.
Microsoft has, it's still a great fan base. I mean, they're probably what 20 million somewhere in there now, maybe 30 million.
They're saying 30, but yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's a pretty sizable market to offer that too. But
Yes,
I
it
mean,
is.
that's you're probably going to sell this thing to what, maybe 5% of that, maybe ten
Maybe.
percent,
I was
maybe
10%.
10%.
10% would be huge. I don't think 10.
Yeah, you know what I mean. I'm being generous here. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah,
like
you are.
I don't think you're gonna move that many because the price of the thing.
Right. Sure.
You know, but so
500. Yeah.
they should have just marketed that way in my opinion. Instead of them coming out talking about it's the console to end all consoles, it's the most powerful thing, yada yada yada. Yeah, but you're not showing me that. You
Hmm.
know what I mean? Don't show me Assassin's Creed when I know on the PS4 Pro the difference is going to be negligible. It's not going to be saying,
Mm.
"Yeah, I want to spend that $100." You
Gotcha.
need to show me something along the lines of now. If they would have came out and said Anthem is exclusive, I would have threw my wallet at the
Oh
TV.
my God.
You know what I mean? Like if you're gonna
Wow.
do that,
Yeah,
you need
man.
to show me a reason why this thing is a console to end all consoles. Because I don't
Right.
want to spend $500 just for a crisper image or whatever. You know,
Sure.
granted, I know the console is capable of more than that, but
Hmm.
that's not what they've shown so far. It's just
Right.
been multi-platforms. You know, yeah, they're gonna be prettier on this console. Okay, cool, but come on, if you're gonna do that, you need to go big. Whereas Sony comes out, boom, here's Horizon. This is why you want this, and you're like, well, yeah, you're right. I do want
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
You know what
That's
I
true.
mean?
Yeah.
You're
That's true.
right. I do want that. You know, whereas Microsoft hadn't showed that at all. You know, so
Yeah.
I think it's just meant for their hardcore gamers, and I think that this whole message would have been better had they came out at E3 and said, "Look, we are doing this for our hardcore. It's a
Right.
premium console. It's for the people that want more out of it." Boom, here you go. Instead of all this jargon about, because now everybody's saying, "Well, show me something that looks better than Horizon." Or show me something that
Yeah.
looks better than Uncharted. Hell, show me something that looks better than Infamous. And that's a what 5 4 5 year old game. You know what I mean?
About
Like
about that.
show
About
me
that.
show me something that's better. And
Yeah.
they're not doing that yet. So and they won't ever do that because I mean they just don't focus on exclusives as much as Sony does. And that's a big reason why Sony's at 70 something million consoles because
Yeah.
you're not gonna get this experience anywhere else. And same with Nintendo. It's why Nintendo will always make money hand over fist because they just have those games you just cannot get anywhere else. Exclusives matter.
They
People,
do.
I've heard people say that exclusives don't matter. Yes, they do.
Yes, they do.
The exclusives are very important
They're very
because
important.
if you can't get that experience anywhere else, then you have to go through them.
Right.
It's like Sony's got a monopoly on most genres. Like the action adventure genre, Sony's got a monopoly on it. They control that genre. With the type of games that they're producing lately. I mean, they got Neo, they got Horizon, they got Nier now. Granted, Nier's on PC as well, but
But
God of
console
War.
exclusive. Yeah. Got him. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I
Yeah.
mean. God of War is pretty basically the undisputed king of action adventure, other
Sure.
than maybe Uncharted. So
Right.
they have a monopoly on these type of genres where if you want that experience, you got to go through them to get it. And I think it's
Right.
brilliant. And I really wanted Microsoft to show something on that stage, whether it be E3 or Gamescom, to
Mhm.
just say, "Man, I want that console," and they did not do that. So it's
Mhm.
going to be a small percentage of their fan base that buys this thing.
Overall,
Yeah, very
that's one.
small.
That's one of the things that that concerned me with the reveal. Again, I understand what Microsoft is doing, and going back to what they said about backwards compatibility, what they said about the current games in your library. We're going to enhance it with the Xbox One X, but because it has so much horsepower, I personally love a lot of power, and
Hmm.
I want that power to be exploited. And Microsoft, they're in the position to really mature this hardware if they leverage it correctly. And it doesn't seem like they're getting off to a great start in doing that, because it's like for example, you look at what they have for the holidays. Um, like for example, let's say the next 6 months after the system launches, so they have as far as games that are stand out that you can only get on Xbox that are compelling. Okay, because like you said, it'll be negligible. Very, you don't know what the difference will be
Yeah, they're
between
gonna. I cannot
multiplex
wait. I can't wait for the Digital Foundry
breakdowns.
breakdowns. Yeah, because they're gonna
Oh,
be
they're gonna
very
be crushing.
close. They're gonna be
They're gonna be
very
close
close.
with the multiplex. I think so too, man. And see, if they're really close, that doesn't work in the Xbox One X's favor.
No,
It doesn't.
not
It,
at
it
all.
doesn't work in its favor. Like if it's like massive differences, it's like okay, that's sexy. But unfortunately, I'm thinking because developers are going to be developing to the least common denominator, what you're going to be seeing is going to be really close. And so it's like, okay, how does this system separate itself from the competition? So when I look at the holidays, Josh, I'm thinking, okay, they're talking about Gamescom. They mentioned
Mhm.
Zoo Tycoon, two Disney games. I'm not trying to be funny. I'm just these. Okay, they're talking about super.
I'm sorry.
Yo, man, don't tell me if you laugh, man. They they talking about super Lucky's Tale, which I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm a sucker for platformers, so I'm excited about Super
Yeah.
Lucky's Tale, but it's not a system seller, right? It's not like
Hmm.
Mario Odyssey.
Yeah,
Mario Odyssey is
exactly.
gonna sell with switches. They're talking about Super Lucky's Tale, the three Disney games, Cuphead, um, uh, Forza 7, along with Players Unknown Battleground, and between PUBG and Forza 7, and I'll throw Cuphead in there. Those three games are the interesting games to me. Well, at the end of the day, I'm not gonna. No offense against Forza 7. Forza 7 looks ridiculous on the Xbox One X.
Yeah, but it's
However,
it's a yearly release.
it's a yearly release, and it's coming up next to some incredibly stiff competition this year with Gran Turismo Sport and the new Project Cars 2. Both of
Yeah.
those games look amazing, like amazing, right? So Forza 7 is going to have its work cut out. I'm gonna just say it now. Gran Turismo Sports is going to sell far more because the install base on PlayStation 4 is just kind of bananas right now. Um, and then we go into the first quarter of 2018. Now we got Sea of Thieves, we got Crackdown 3, and State of Decay 2. Now, off the top of my head, I'm having a brain freeze. I can't remember the dates for those games, but I believe those three games are coming out in the first 3 months of the year, if I'm not mistaken, or first four
Yeah.
months of the year,
Hmm.
right? Play it safe, throw April in there, and that's great. That is a wonderful start to the year because I mentioned this on a show previously on Game Insider Weekly, Josh, and I was talking about Halo Wars 2, and I'm like, okay, we reviewed Halo Wars 2, and we gave it a favorable review. We actually loved it. We played both the Xbox One version and the Windows 10 version. But the problem with that is Sony was so aggressive this year. They threw Neo, and then then Microsoft drops Halo Wars 2, and then Sony just flanks them with Horizon. I'm like, oh my, in the same month, right? And so you kind of forgot about Halo Wars 2. Halo Wars 2 came and went before you thought it was on the market, right? No one even gave
Yeah.
a whiff to the game, and it was a great game. But that's because there was not a lot of games that came out that we saw that were coming out. Well, we thought games were going to come out, but then with those delays with Scalebound and what was it, Fable Legends, that I was really expecting that as a free to play. So again, this year has been a drought year for the Xbox, and then they put out this new system, and their message was, and this took me back, man, when this was asked. When they asked Aaron Greenberg, what games do you have? What's going on? What you got for us? And my man says, well, because we have the biggest exclusives, and he said Halo, Gears, and Forza. You know, it's almost like you have to be more in tune with the heartbeat of the industry. When you say Xbox and you say Forza, Gears, and Halo, it's almost a running joke, right? And I
That's
don't mean to
exactly
be
what it is.
right, because it's like, is that all you have with just multi platforms? Like,
I believe it is.
and to really believe that, I'm like, okay, I guess Microsoft is going to believe that. But when you look at the competition, you just can't help but just beg for the question of, like, what are you guys going to? Because, okay, last thing. Granted, Nintendo, they're gonna give you a million Mario games.
Yeah.
Oh my God, they're gonna have a million Mario games. But it's how they drop them. The Zelda this year, great. Mario Odyssey, it's gonna sell like hotcakes, and it's selling like crazy. When you look at Gears of War 4, those sales were lackluster.
Yeah.
Gears of War used to sell 6 million copies, 7 million copies. It hasn't
And it
broke
was
3 million.
unfortunate too because Gears of War was one of the best games of that year. It was fantastic,
Gears
but
of
it's
War is the
just
best game on Xbox One right now, hands down. Gears of War
I agree with
4,
that.
it's
I agree.
amazing. Oh yeah, I love Gears, but the sales, it hasn't broke 3 million yet.
They're in
Uh,
franchise fatigue. Like people are just tired of Gears.
right, right,
That's the problem with it.
and then you look at a game like Horizon Zero Dawn. It's a brand new IP, and it has outsold both Gears of War and Halo 5. Not combined, but it's outsold them. That, like, huh? Uncharted sold 8 million copies. Like, that's just crazy numbers. Like,
Yeah, actually, I think it's closer to 10 now,
see,
somewhere in there.
that's like Call of Duty numbers. That's on one platform. I mean, so I'm hoping that Microsoft. I really want to see some new IPs, and not just a new IP. Super Lucky still, I'm assuming that's a new IP. No, 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 no. I'm talking about something that's make me want to break my neck to stare at it. So this year's Gamescom, man,
It's disappointing.
it was a bit of a letdown. It
Yeah,
was
it
a
was
letdown.
disappointing. That seems to be the uh the resounding consensus is that it was disappointing. Like
Yeah.
I also would like to ask Microsoft too, if I could, like who told them that Crackdown was good? Like they are building Crackdown like it's
Yeah.
Zelda or something that they can lean on. You know what I mean? It's like and like for the past year and a half, I think since they've been talking about it, I'm like, am I the only person on Earth that feels this way? Like who said Crackdown was good? The first Crackdown was terrible. Like if you go
Right.
back and look at the reviews for it, I think it's sitting at like a 72 Metacritic, somewhere in there. Like it's a terrible game, but they
Right.
are building this game and talking about it and delaying it like it's
Yeah.
amazing. You know, like it's one of their blockbuster franchises. And they were trying to sell the Xbox One X with Crackdown. You
Mhm.
are in panic mode if this is your game plan because Crackdown, really? Like, I just had to get that out there because people keep talking about Crackdown like it's just the heat. And I'm like, if it's thing Crackdown, I remember Crackdown was awful. It was not a good it was not an amazing
You know.
game whatsoever. Like check the Metacritic score. I'm telling you, it's low
Yeah.
70s. It was
I'm gonna.
awful.
You know. Crackdown is interesting to me because okay, let me just be honest. When I saw the Crackdown 3, the first time they showed Crackdown 3, I'm gonna tell you, I was blown away because of the dynamic destruction. I'm like, okay, because I always felt that Crackdown was not quite being maximized from a creative standpoint with what it
No.
could really be, right? I thought
Mm-hmm.
there was a lot there, but the experience, like especially the first one, Crackdown 2, I could swallow it, but the first one was just like bare bones, very shallow. Um, so when I saw the destructibility of the tech demo of Crackdown 3, Josh, you saw it, full
Yeah.
scale buildings. I was like, wait, this guy jumped off of a building holding his gun, and the building right in front of him literally exploded and collapsed, and the cars under it are blowing up. I'm like, okay, I'm about to get a Crackdown 3 tattoo. That looks unbelievable. Like, I have to play that. And of course, when they revealed Crackdown 3, I haven't. Maybe you have. I have not seen one building blow up yet. I have not. I've seen
No,
cars
they kind of got away from that.
completely, right?
Yeah,
Completely.
I haven't seen a lot of that either.
Yeah.
What I do know is that Crackdown 1 and 2 are both. Crackdown 2 is a 70 on Metacritic. Crackdown 1, I think, is like a 71 or 72.
Oh wow.
And they are building this game like it's going to move consoles. And I'm like, you guys
Yeah.
seriously need to go back to the drawing board if that's the case.
Hmm.
Because I know IGN is talking about it. A lot of these different outlets keep talking about Crackdown. And I'm like, why are we discussing Crackdown? Crackdown is an afterthought. Like, I hope they surprise me. I hope it comes out
Yeah.
and it's, the game to end them all. I really hope it is. I don't want to see anybody's work fail, but Crackdown has
Sure.
never been good. We need to stop talking about Crackdown like it's Arkham Knight or something, like it matters, because it
Right.
doesn't. Until they show otherwise, Crackdown doesn't matter. You can't put a game in there that's 70, 71 Metacritic and expect it to matter, expect it to carry some weight,
Yeah.
but these guys are talking about Crackdown like
They put a
it's
lot of emphasis
Uncharted
on
or
it.
something. Yeah,
They
and
put a
I'm
lot of
like,
emphasis on
if
Crackdown. Yeah.
but that's a bigger problem though, because if that's the game that's drawing the most of your interest, then God help you. You are in trouble. Because I mean, I'm not trying to be funny here, but I mean, think about it. The only interesting thing that Microsoft really has coming this year is Cuphead. And well, for my personal opinion, whereas Sony has just released just a barrage of stuff just the early part of this year. And I
Sure.
think what they're going to do the rest of the year is just kind of teeter off a little bit. And they
Mhm.
don't need to. They've already
Yeah.
released, are quite a few exclusives already, and we're just in August, so
Hmm.
they don't really need to push or rush anything out. That would be foolish to do so.
Right.
Especially when they have the market. Well, when they have deals with Destiny, they have the deals with COD, they have the deals with Battlefront. The three biggest games of the fall they have in their corner.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it doesn't
Some
make any
games.
sense for them to
Yeah.
push anything of theirs out because you're cannibalizing your work. Then it doesn't make sense.
True.
And then
Good point.
early next year, Crackdown is supposed to come out. The Sea of Thieves. The only thing I'll say Sea of Thieves is that it's on PC as well. That
Right.
game's gonna get crushed on consoles. Let's just be real here. Crackdown also gonna get crushed on consoles because they're gonna run into that territory where, early next year they're gonna be in trouble because you're gonna have first off Far Cry 5 comes out early next year. Granted, that's a
Mm.
multi-platform, but it's gonna drown out anything Microsoft's doing early next year. And then
Okay.
right after that, you're gonna get God of War. Spider-Man is supposed to be early next year. So it's just those
That's
two games alone are the year in total, other than Red Dead. Granted, we don't know what else is coming next year, supposedly,
sure. Right.
but God of War and Spider-Man, that Spider-Man looks insane.
It.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
Xbox has never shown anything that looks that good, in my opinion. In my personal opinion, Spider-Man looked incredible. It looks like, if
A
I
movie.
ever, yeah, exactly. If I could say
Yeah.
the type of if I could create the type of Spider-Man game that I want, it would be that. That
Yeah.
game looked incredible.
That looks
God of
insane.
War looks insane.
Sure.
Like these are both at the moment looking like game of the year contenders.
For next year,
Usually,
absolutely. Yeah.
usually when Sony drops an exclusive, they are game of the year contenders. Whereas Crackdown, like these dudes are in trouble. Like they're in a lot of trouble. Not to mention they got a $500 box they're trying to sell. And that's gonna get a lot harder when all of these other exclusives start to come, and especially if Sony decides to drop the price on the Pro this holiday. If they cut
Ooh.
that thing by $50 or so,
Uh,
but I'm at the point where I don't even consider Microsoft and Sony in a race anymore. The way I see it, it's Sony just out there doing whatever they want to do. Microsoft just kind of plugging along. Excuse me. Then you got Nintendo, kind of getting off to the races or whatever. Nintendo's going to do them. The Wii, not the Wii. I'm sorry. The Switch
yeah.
seems to be a very popular console. They're in a much better position than they were with the Wii or the Wii U
Yeah.
rather. And so they're gonna do them. Nintendo's always gonna do them. You don't even need to think about them. They're gonna succeed. This is what they do.
That's what they do. That's
Yes,
right.
this is what they do.
That's what they do.
And Microsoft. I mean, I think they need to stop comparing Microsoft and Sony to be real. Why they keep talking about them as if they're in a competition? This generation is foolish. I mean, Microsoft is just starting to crack 30 million consoles if they're that far along. Sony's up here 70 million plus.
Yeah, it's
Why
pretty.
are we
Yeah.
talking about these two companies like they're in a competition? That is not a competition. That
No.
is one company that has just, one on off with this thing, whereas Microsoft is should be looking at what Sony's doing and trying to mimic it, in my opinion. If I was making calls at Microsoft, I would really look at what I'm doing and what Sony's doing and try to figure out what I'm doing wrong instead of
Mm,
my ideas are the best. Clearly they're not working.
yeah.
When your competition blasts you for 40 million units, you are doing something very wrong. And they still, 4 years, 5 years later, they still have not changed it. They're still marching at the beat of this. Forza, Gears, Halo, Crackdown. That's all they need, and a couple multi-platforms in there. And
Yeah,
history shows
that's
us that
it.
that's the yeah. History shows us that doesn't sell consoles. Like no.
No. You know, the idea behind their push on Crackdown, and like you, I was also asking the question, wow, they're really pushing Crackdown. If you look at Crackdown 1, Crackdown 2, Crackdown was never really Microsoft never pushed Crackdown to the forefront as a
No.
flagship. I shouldn't say flagship, but as a one of our AAA, you got to get it type of games. It was just another game, a part of the basket of games that you're going to
Mm-hmm.
see. But I believe that with Crackdown 3, you know, and I think it boils down to a lack of. When you don't have that many resources, I mean, granted, certain games were canceled, big games were canceled. Then you have to rely on, okay, how can we make this average game look even better, even prettier?
Yeah. How do we make it
And
appealing?
right, how to really blow it up, and also too, and not to call Microsoft liars, or I'm not saying that or anything like that, but what I'm saying is, I also believe that Microsoft knew Crackdown was going to be delayed before it was delayed, before like a long time before it was announced, because you had to have something, again, just an opinion, you had to have something to carry the blow from the Scalebound cancellation, Fable Legends cancellation, uh, and then you're looking at all of these crazy exclusives that are dropping. Some of them were on PC, but they were like PlayStation console exclusives, and then Nintendo was really making a mad dash after the launch of the Switch. So you had to have something to say, okay, hey guys, this is really going to be a great game with the new
Yeah.
Crackdown 3. And then we saw that tech demo of Crackdown 3, and we're like, oh, wow, Microsoft has something here. And then when we really see it, it's like, hmm. And around that same time, Swag, we saw them talking about the Xbox One X more, reveal. And so it's like, oh, Crackdown's going to be great on it. And you pepper in a couple of Assassin's Creed video trailers and what have you after E3, knowing that we're going to delay this game, but really closer to Gamescom, so we can say some other, show you some other games and save face a little bit. I think it was strategic positioning, and I think that's why Crackdown was given so much airplay, because at the end of the day, they have to deal with the hand that they're dealt.
Yeah. That's
It
really all they
was,
had.
yeah, it's all they had. Unfortunately, but you know, I don't know. I asked a question, and I said, no offense to Microsoft or anyone who's Microsoft being dear to their heart. But I asked this question. I said, "Is the Xbox brand a plaything for Microsoft, or is the Xbox brand really a branch of Microsoft that they're really trying to make formidable?" Because I asked that question because you know that the competition, so many games. A lot of these games that we like on Sony aren't made by Sony. So many of them are, but from their
Mm.
publishing developing partners, but a lot of them aren't. And not to say that Sony's better or whatever, that's subjective, but they get it right. It's it's just the idea of, we want to offer consumers more, and not just in quantity, but in quality. Um, and I mentioned this before, that Microsoft tends to put out something that's exclusive. For example, Sunset Overdrive. Okay, that was exclusive on Xbox. Rise, Son of Rome, exclusive. Quantum Break, exclusive. My review for that game wasn't quite favorable, but it has a solid baseline that you can mature.
Mm-hmm.
Games like Uncharted, the first Uncharted. I love the first Uncharted, but it pales in comparison to the second Uncharted because they made the first one, had time to mature and make the second one, and it's become this juggernaut of a franchise. And it doesn't seem like Microsoft has been willing to do that with certain games. Sunset Overdrive deserves a sequel. Rise Son of Rome deserves a sequel. I would go as far as to say that the game Recore, it deserves a sequel, despite its brutal load times. Oh my God. Quantum Break deserves a sequel. But we won't see sequels of these games because that's not how Microsoft seems to do business. And it seems disappointing because as a gamer, you want there to be stiff competition. I don't want Sony to feel like you just said, this is not a race. This is not a console race. You got 70 million, almost 70 million consoles sold, and the competition is almost at 30. You're not. That's not a race. That's like Usain Bolt racing me. It's not a race, dude. Right? It's
Yeah, it's
not a
not
race.
competition.
It's not a competition. It's a joke. So it's like it's okay if you want to be in your own lane, Microsoft, and offer games that look better that people already have in their library. Awesome. Backwards compatibility. Awesome. I'm all for it. I dig that. But at the end of the day, if I spend $500 on your system, I don't want to go back and have to play Gears of War on it.
Exactly.
Let Gears of War 4 be just an option while I'm playing the exclusive Anthem or the exclusive Red Dead Redemption, which of course that's not going to happen. But there needs to be something on it that's unique that makes me say, okay, I want to buy this system for that. And I'm not going to sit here and say that all the PlayStation's exclusives are system sellers. I'm not going to say that. But you'll get a couple of system sellers in there from Sony, and then a couple other ones are like those diamonds in the rough because there's so many to choose from. You're like, oh my God, what was this? And then you're talking about it. Like, who thought Uncharted Lost Legacy would be a system seller? I didn't. But now that I'm playing it, it's a system seller. I think so. It's that beautiful. It looks that good. You get that much gameplay
These days,
content
I
out of
kind
it.
of feel like whatever Naughty Dog touches is a system seller because
They're that talented. Yeah, they're
yeah,
very
they're
talented.
that good. Like whatever
Right.
they make is a game. Is usually a game of the year contender. That's something you have to play it at least once.
Right.
Like they're
Right.
that talented.
Right. They are. So Josh, let me ask you, man. So you're playing Uncharted Lost Legacy. I know you're loving it. I'm almost done with it, but I probably won't be done for another 90 hours because I not to harp on the game, but I do have a point to make moving forward. But let me just say this about Uncharted, man. Okay. It is its own standalone experience. It's not a DLC, it's its own game. It's a full-fledged like game within the universe of Uncharted. And I'm playing it, and I'm just gonna just straight up say it. And oh my God, I'm having more fun with Lost Legacy than I did with Uncharted 4. I'm serious. Listen to me. Uncharted 4 was a good game. I don't think Uncharted PlayStation gamers are going to hate me for saying this. Uncharted 4 was a beautiful game. It had a cool story. But for me personally, it was not as good as Uncharted 3 or Uncharted 2. And Uncharted 1 sort of rivals it to me. Now, it was more of a better told narrative experience than the first game. But the fun factor, when you're in combat missions, or excuse me, I should say objectives in Uncharted 4, as opposed to Lost Legacy. In Lost Legacy, when you're playing with Chloe and your girl Nadine Ross, man, dude, you know what's amazing with Lost Legacy? I'm like, Ubisoft, why couldn't you have used this type of AI for Ghost Recon Wildlands? When you run up on enemies in Lost Legacy, and Nadine, you're not controlling her. But if you watch and pay attention to how she moves,
Mm-hmm.
oh my God, she is the perfect ally. Like she'll take out guys who almost saw you. She'll like hide in the bush when the guy's coming. She'll move around them. I'm like, oh my God, you play Ghost Recon Wildlands. It's a great game cooperatively. You're a master at it, Josh. But I played that. I tried to play the game single player with the AI, man. Oh my God, they're just walking out into the open, like, "Hey guys, you mind taking the headshot?"
Yeah,
I'm
the
like,
AI
"What are
is
you
terrible.
doing?" It's bad. It's bad. So with Lost Legacy, the fun factor to me I never thought I would say this, man, but the fun factor is to me higher in this game
I don't doubt that.
than Uncharted 4. It's just I'm serious, man. Like I spend so much time, for example, in Uncharted 4, the time that you, Sully, and your brother were in the Jeep, right? It wasn't that memorable to me. It was
No.
okay. Now, when you got to the certain location where you was in the chase, the run out, and you're sliding in the mud and all that was brilliant. That was phenomenal. But the whole time you and Nadine are in the Jeep and you're traversing India in these certain spots and you're actually doing basically a Tomb Raidering type of thing, going around and fighting and stopping in your Jeep and jumping back in your Jeep, the way that it hits the mud you just want to stay lost in that world because it's everywhere you look. It's absolutely eye pleasingly stunning. It's incredible, man. So that game is gorgeous. It's fun, but now thinking about what's coming out for the rest of the year, what's your most anticipated list of games, man? Like top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What are you looking forward to, man?
Oh man, my number one is definitely Assassin's Creed. Because, well, I
That's
mean, you've
great.
known me for a couple of years now. You know me, huge
Yeah, man.
Assassin's Creed fan. So, and I've
Uh-huh.
always wanted a series to go to ancient Egypt. I wanted that for years.
You've
So
always talked about that.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm all over Assassin's Creed, and definitely Shadow of War. Those two games are already purchased for me.
Okay.
Big Lord of the Rings fan because the first game was amazing.
Yes.
it,
Yes.
it was fantastic, and this one appears to be even better because when we were talking about, I remember a couple years ago we were talking about a potential sequel, and I think you asked me, you was like, "Well, what would they need to do?" And I was like, "Man, just more the
Right.
same, add a little more depth to the Nemesis system, and obviously, more story, and I'm good."
Right.
And that's exactly
It
what
sounds
they've
simple,
done.
man. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
essential.
it's
Yeah.
exactly what they've done. Like they didn't go in and try to reinvent the wheel. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Right.
They've added a deeper combat system, deeper nemesis system, more story. They've actually added loot this time, where
Wow.
there's different tiers of armors that you can find, weapons that you can
Wow.
find. Like it seems really deep. Like you can put a lot of hours into this.
That
It's what it
sounds
seems
cool.
like, and I know that it's been getting a lot of flack because of their addition of microtransactions or whatever.
I
But
heard about that. Yeah.
a lot of times that's not necessarily on the developers. That's usually on the people that pay the bills. Is we want
It's
this in
publisher.
this game? Yeah, exactly. We want this in the game, some form or another. That I really believe that's kind of out of the developer's hand, and but a lot of systems we know it's out of their hands. Like they can't really control that.
Right.
But microtransactions, this is not a multiplayer game. It's a single player experience. Microtransactions, whatever. If you don't want it, don't buy it.
Don't buy it.
I've
Yeah.
always been that type to where they don't really bother me.
Hmm.
I know a lot of people feel very strongly about microtransactions being a $60 game. But me personally, I don't really care because if I don't want it, just don't spend my money on it.
Right.
Plain and simple. I'm not being forced to use it,
Exactly.
but that and Wolfenstein. Good God. I cannot wait to
Wolfenstein.
get back into
Oh, the new
Wolfenstein.
Colossus, huh?
Yes, because the first one, the New Order, was a very pleasant surprise. It was
Awesome.
so
Awesome.
yeah, it was exceptional. So
Yeah.
those three games are basically purchased already for me.
Okay. Okay.
Everything else can just kind of be or just swing games or whatever, but this one is a must have.
Yeah. Awesome. My wife just walked in. We're doing a show right now, honey. Yeah. So yeah. So you like your three are Middle Earth, Saddle of War. I knew that. I already knew that. I'm surprised you didn't
Yeah,
mention that one. I'm surprised you didn't
yeah,
mention
you
that
knew
one
that.
first. So it's all
Well,
good.
because that's the obvious. I mean, you've known me
Yes.
well enough to know
No
that's the
doubt.
obvious one.
No doubt. And you didn't say Destiny 2, right? I'm messing with you, man.
Oh no, you did not go there with that one.
I'm messing with you.
No, actually, right now I'm not gonna buy Destiny 2.
Okay. Okay.
That's a show. That's a show in itself. No,
Yeah. 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 We'll do that.
no. After playing the beta, and I'll probably play because I think the open beta starts Tuesday. And after playing the first beta, I'm just kind of like, nah, it's more the same. I'm just not interested.
Yeah. So Middle Earth. Um, you said Middle Earth. You said
Assassin's Creed and
Assassin's Creed and
Wolfenstein.
Wolfenstein. Wolfenstein. Okay, that's good. That's a good list. I mean, that's yeah, yeah. It's funny. I was looking at some new gameplay of Call of Duty, and I'm convinced that Sledgehammer They understand how to pull the heartstrings to my DNA, man.
They make a really good campaign.
They do, man.
Because
They
didn't they make
yes,
Advanced Warfare or something like that?
yes, they
Advanced
did.
Warfighter or something like
Yes,
that.
they
Yeah,
did.
that campaign was really good.
Awesome. They Sledgehammer, I believe, is the number one developer on the Call of Duty team right now. I think they have three teams. There's Infinity Ward, Sledgehammer, and maybe Ravensoft. I think
Treyarch.
Treyarch. Thank you, Treyarch. Well, Treyarch is pretty good too. Treyarch does a good job. Treyarch does a good job. But I think I'm gonna give the edge to Sledgehammer. Treyarch does a great job. I shouldn't. Those guys do a really good job. Um, but I'm gonna give the edge to Sledgehammer. They do a wonderful job with the Call of Duty games. But been looking at Call of Duty footage, man, and of course, right now people can jump into the beta, play it. Of course, if you pre-order the game. Um, but I am really excited about Call of Duty. I'm not going to say it's one of my most anticipated games this year or for the remainder of the year. Um, Let me see. What am I most anticipated right now that I'm really looking forward to getting my hands on? For a long time there, it was I was thinking about Star Wars Battlefront 2. It looks so good. That story
Mm.
campaign looks really good, so I'm happy about that. But I'm not going to say it's something that I'm really thinking about that's like compelling me to want to really play it. I'm going to play it, of course. But like must-haves, if I'm on a deserted island, what do I really need to play? Um, one of them, Gran Turismo Sport, is really
Mm.
like one that I have to play. I really want to play that.
I can
Um,
see that.
because I haven't played Gran Turismo since the last one that came out on PS3, and it was a great game. But having sat in front of Gran Turismo Sport on a 4K monitor, I didn't play it, but I'm watching it. Oh my god,
It's
this
gorgeous, huh?
it's stunning. It just doesn't. I mean, it's funny. And I didn't talk to the guys who were there, who were Sony representatives, and they were playing the game. But looking at Forza 7 in native 4K, it's really sick. It's sickening how it looks. But it's interesting how well Sony has that whole checkerboard dynamic 4K down to a science. Because when you watch Gran Turismo Sport, and I'm making a comparison between the two, but I am making a contrast in how the trickery is used to make something look astonishing. You'll play
Yeah.
Forza 7. I've watched a ton of Forza 7 content in 4K, and it's all beautiful. It's great. But what makes it beautiful is the clarity of the 4K. And in Gran Turismo Sport, it's just pretty. I mean, you'll be racing, and the camera just a trick out and draw distance out, and the trees and the blues and the reds are just the color palettes. They're both using HDR, Forza 7 and GTS and Gran Turismo Sport. They both use HDR, but it seems for some reason the HDR in Gran Turismo Sport seems louder. I don't know. It just
Yeah.
maybe because it has to be because it's dynamic 4K. It's not native. Um,
They're different engines too.
yeah, they are, and also too when they're running side by side. Like when you watch a video compression in 4K, it doesn't do it justice. You have to see them in real life to
Yeah.
see how beautiful dynamic 4K truly is and how much it rivals native. I'll take native over dynamic any day of the week if I have the option. Okay, but that's just on paper. When you see them, it's like whoa. And having seen Gran Turismo Sport, I'm that's one game that is on my hit list. I have to play that game. That's a game that I really want to play. Assassin's Creed Origin. I have to play Assassin's Creed Origin. I that looks so wonderful, man. This dude under the water fighting crocodiles and jumping
Yeah,
on
it looks to be the
ships and
best in the series in years.
yeah, sliding down
But
the
you
side
know,
of pyramids.
it's being made by that Black Flag team, and I think personally, I've played every single one of the Assassin's Creed games, and Black Flag to me is right up at the top as one of the best. Granted,
Two
it's
was
funny
amazing though, bro.
because
Two was
yeah, it
amazing.
was. It's funny because Black Flag was a terrible Assassin's Creed game. Like it was not an Assassin's Creed game whatsoever.
I see what you're saying, but it was good though.
Yeah, think about it. Everett Kenway was an assassin. He just jumps in, takes somebody's outfit, and just
I
starts slaying.
and I didn't even like him as a character. I was
Neither
not
did
a
I.
fan. He
Neither
was
did
a
I.
bum to me.
I think he's one of the worst assassins. Period. And
Completely. Yeah,
that's just my opinion. But the naval combat and the combat period was fantastic. Like
sure.
they give you your ship pretty early on. They just let you go do whatever you want, and I really, really love that. And so
Yeah.
when I found out that the Black Flag team was making this one, I was like, okay,
Yeah.
they may be on to something here. And not to mention,
Yeah.
Ubisoft took extra time to
Mhm.
try and recapture some of that Assassin's Creed magic.
Yeah. So
So
true. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Gran Turismo Sport. I'm gonna go with Assassin's Creed. I'm gonna go.
Wolfenstein.
I'm gonna go Wolfenstein, and I'm also gonna go with. I'm gonna piggyback off of Shadow of War because I love Shadow of Mordor.
Yes,
Uh,
you did.
and there's another game that's coming out in September. Actually, I'm gonna talk about it more. It was
Destiny.
oh, and you know what? You know what? Concerning Destiny, we talked about Destiny. It's not
Mm-hmm.
one of my most anticipated, but having looked at some new content about it and what they're doing with the campaign, of course I'm gonna be diving in at launch. I'm gonna be diving in at launch. I you know I was really questioning it because the beta
It left much to be desired.
I'm gonna tell you why because it just felt so the get I don't know man it just felt so much like um Destiny.
Yep.
And it's a Destiny game, and that's kind of foolish to say it felt like the original game. Well, it's supposed to, right? But
It didn't feel any better. It felt the exact
there you
same as
go.
when you picked it up a year or 2, 3 years
Yes,
ago.
yes, that must have been what the issue is, and so and the first Destiny when it came out at launch, it put a bad taste in my mouth. A year later,
Mm-hmm.
after Destiny launched, it was much better. It was cleaned up, but I was still wanting more to learn about the Traveler. I was so into the narrative mysteries of the game prior to it launching that when I played the
Yeah.
game initially, there was a bit of a disappointment, and the loot system was at the time at launch was atrocious. It got much better, much better. Um, so I'm gonna give Destiny 2 a shot. Absolutely, I'm gonna give it a shot. It's not one of my most anticipated, but it's definitely a day one purchase. Um, and there's a game called Ruiner or Ruined. I wrote it down somewhere.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's like a top down. I got paper here. Yeah, Ruiner. It's a brutal action shooter set in 2091. Uh, yeah, it looks impressive, man. I love the whole cyberpunk theme, and so
Yeah.
yeah, I'm like, I'm gonna talk about it more on Game Insider Weeklies this weekend. But it looks really intriguing. I like those little bite-sized experiences, man. Because this year I've got a lot of great bite-sized experiences that have been cool. So those are the games I'm looking forward to. Um, I can't wait. I really want to play Cuphead. I really want to play Cuphead. I do.
It looks
It
awesome.
looks so cool, man. Like that retro flavor of the cartoon, and it just has a nostalgia effect
Hmm.
about it that I just want to dive into,
It's
man.
so stylized that it's
Yeah,
eye catching. It really is.
it is, and I'm like,
And
wow.
speaking of Uncharted, not to interrupt you, but with
No, you
Uncharted,
good.
would you want to see this series continue, or
Okay,
are you
it
like
has to. Look,
over
look.
it?
Uh, okay, where I'm at right now. Oh man, I'm glad you went there. Where I'm at in the story of Lost Legacy, and okay, I'm just gonna just say this. So there's a scene in Lost Legacy. I'm playing the game, and there's a scene where Nadine is talking to Chloe, and I'm not gonna keep harping on the graphics, but they are disgusting. So they're both sweating. They're out in the wild. I'm assuming that the area they're in is quite humid because of how their hair lays on their neck and it's moist and it just looks really interesting. And they're making eye contact with each other. They're talking, and you see this relationship that starts off kind of on a rocky road. It's sort of like
Yeah,
this is right. This is just a business relationship.
they don't trust each other.
They don't trust each other. But as you play through the game, the narrative is really impressive in the sense of you start seeing this bond happening because Nadine, she doesn't trust. She's a businesswoman and she understands Chloe's history, and Chloe's the same way. Um, but they start to you see them start to
They start to form a bond. Like
yeah, you see this bond that's
yeah,
forming.
exactly. I know exactly
But
what you mean.
you right, and then there's things that kind of betray that later on, right? So you'll get
Yeah,
to that point. And I'm gonna tell you right now, man, I was playing the game just yesterday, and I'm like, wow, Nathan Drake was an amazing character and a massive like impression on the series. However, it does not need him. It doesn't.
You
I
know,
mean,
it's funny you said that because I've never been a huge Nathan Drake fan.
I love
I'm
Nathan
pretty
Drake.
I'm pretty sure you've heard me say this. Like I've
Yeah, you said it
he,
to me.
he's
It's
never like just
that's my
been
dude, though, dog.
an amazing character to me. Like I don't know. Like he's just kind of I don't know. Just he just
Take
has
it,
that
take him or
slapstick
leave him, huh?
humor, and he just
Yeah,
he's just never been an amazing character to me. He's not a bad character by no means,
sure.
but it's funny because I got really excited when they announced this because Chloe has always been one of my favorite characters from the series.
I like Chloe too.
Her,
Yeah, I do too.
uh, yeah, you know what I mean, and so to see her get her own game
Yeah.
and her voice actress is amazing. By the way,
Yes. Yeah, she's awesome. She's a
you
cool
know
character for
it's
people's too.
yeah, I think the franchise is in a better spot with her as the main character than it ever was as Drake with the main character because
Wow.
I feel like well I say that because I feel like just off what I've played so far Chloe is way more of an interesting of a character than Drake was, ever was. You know, Drake was just a treasure hunter. He really didn't have very many motivations. If you really look back at those games,
Hmm.
Drake didn't really have a lot of motivations in what he was doing other than this is what I like to do. I'm a treasure hunter.
I can see
Let's
that.
get it.
Absolutely.
And with that being said, he was a terrible treasure hunter at that because he always left empty handed. He never got what he went to go get.
So funny.
So it really was, you know. And whereas
Uh, yeah, that's so
with this
true.
one, Chloe is already way more interested in Drake. Like she has layers. There's reasons why she's doing things. There's reasons why she doesn't trust. You know,
Right.
like and her and not to mention, like I said, her voice actress is really, really good. You know, and
Awesome.
the way
Awesome.
she plays off Nadine and the way they kind of go back and forth. And just when you're driving, like you were talking earlier about just driving around in a Jeep, the banter between the two is exceptional.
It really
Like
is. It really
you know,
is.
I think she's a better character than Drake. To tell you the truth, and I am also having a better time with this than I did with
Uncharted 4.
yeah Uncharted 4. Like to me, this is a better game than Uncharted 4 because really because those characters are better than what they had in there. Granted, you know,
Say it.
Uncharted has always had a really strong cast,
Cast.
but to me, Elena has always been boring. I've always preferred Chloe over Elena because Chloe has way more personality.
I
You
agree.
know, you
She's
know she's
hotter.
just yeah
Yeah,
yeah
she is.
exactly like she's that
No.
character that person that you want to be around.
Hmm.
Elena is just plain Jane, in my opinion. You know,
I
not that
know
there's
she
anything
is.
wrong with that. She just
Yeah.
seems like an average person, whereas Chloe fits that adventurer,
Yeah.
treasure hunter, thief. You know what I mean? She fits that
Sure.
mold very well. Where is Elena is just a fish out of water in all of this. She's so out of place. It's not even funny. You
Right.
know, and I don't know. I've always preferred her over Drake, Elena, all of them. You
Yeah.
know,
She.
in my opinion. And I was actually kind of sad that she wasn't in Uncharted 4.
I
You know,
was too.
because
I was too.
everybody was there except her. I was kind of like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Like, how do you not bring her back for that? You know,
Yeah.
and so to see, I would like to see her get her own game. You know, granted she's got it this, but not her, but her and Nadine. I'd like to see another Uncharted game in the future if they
Yeah.
decide to continue. Granted, I think Naughty Dog has even said that they were thinking about it.
Yeah. They,
And granted, how successful this expansion is will determine on whether or not they make another one. If people really
they
kind
need
of
another one.
resonate with these two characters, they're definitely going to make more of them. And I think they should with these two characters because they work really well together.
They do. You know, I have to concur with everything you said, man. I mean, I love. Yes, Chloe does have more layers and depth to her character than Nathan. Um, Nathan was my dude, though. He was my
I
bro.
know,
That was my bromance right there, dog.
I know he was.
He was my man. But you're correct in how they've introduced Chloe in Uncharted 2. Excuse me, yes, in Uncharted 2.
Hmm.
I see why they didn't bring her in Uncharted 4 because of the relationship between Drake and Elena. They're married, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah, he had to
and
fix some
and
things out with his
you got to
wife.
remember he had a relationship with Chloe
Yeah,
in
he
the 2.
did.
I mean, he had a little sweet thing going on. So it's like can't bring her around, cat fights and the whole nine. I get that.
But
Um,
if you remember though, Drake and Elena was married in 3, and Chloe was still in the picture. She was still in the game. I mean, she was still part of the crew.
in 3.
If you
Oh,
go back and
you're
watch
right. You're right.
3,
You're right. You're right.
yeah,
Yes,
he
you're right.
had a wedding ring on
Yeah,
in Uncharted
yeah.
3.
That's right. He did. He
So did
absolutely did.
Elena.
Yeah. Chloe to me was an amazing character in the other games, but in this one, it's like you're getting the full on experience. And I love how, like you said, she has more layers when she's talking to Nadine about her past, about her father, about how her
You're
father was.
immediately interested.
Yeah, how they build into that, into what she became, and how, like, there's one scene where she says, she talks about her, she refers to her dad, and then she also refers to how much he was gone. And it
Yep.
talked, it kind of talked to the little girl in her and how she longed to just be with her dad. But at the same time, look where she's currently standing. She's actually after the very thing her dad was after, like father, like daughter. That was just, I just love that about how they, that
You
goes,
know, you know what?
Naughty Dog.
When I got to the part of the game, I couldn't help but think. I was like, man, Tomb Raider, why are y'all not taking notes here?
Man,
Because it
man,
kind of had like a Lara Croft vibe, and I'm like, good
yes.
lord, Tomb Raider could be. I wish Naughty Dog had Tomb Raider. I wish Sony owned it, and I wish they gave it to Naughty Dog and just let them do their thing with it.
Yeah,
Because
they know how to write, man. They just know how to
yeah,
blend
they
the
do. They
narrative.
really do. They are
You know,
really good writers.
they're
They
amazing writers, man. It's just, and I'm gonna tell you, Nadine for me, like like I can fall in love with a character easily, like easily.
yeah.
And when you see Nadine in Uncharted 4, and then you see her in this, she's like she was a monster. She was a beast in Uncharted 4. Like it's like that's the black woman you're not running up on. She was off the hook, right?
Yeah.
But oh man, but in this, she's still just as formidable, but she's more transparent. She's more approachable. She's more vulnerable, right? There's
hmm
more being revealed, and you fall in love with her. Like I love
Yeah,
Chloe.
she's definitely becoming more of a likable character
Oh
too.
man, I love.
It's because she's getting center stage. They're
Right.
allowing you to see why she
Yes.
operates, why she does what she does,
Yeah.
why she is what she is. So
I would love to see them with their own game. Swag.
yeah, I'd
Josh,
like to see that
they
continue.
they need to. I mean, if they gave Nadine her own game, it'll be great because I
Yeah,
think
but
what Naughty Dog knows how to do is they hit that magic. Visuals look crazy. The gameplay is just. I remember we
you
was
know
talking about,
when you
dude.
get into a fist fight and like Nadine
Oh
runs in,
man, dude.
somebody goes high, somebody goes low.
Yeah, like when I played Uncharted 4 and you shimmy, you traverse, you looking for stuff. Is it me or it didn't? It does why does Lost Legacy feel better when you're shimmying with Chloe and Plank? It's like this feels like Uncharted. Like this is the Uncharted experience.
I'm telling you, man. It really to me it really is because of Chloe, and it's because of Chloe's personality. It's that
Okay,
playful banter back and forth with her and Nadine. Chloe, no matter what the hell is going on, Chloe finds a way to make light of it.
right,
And that's
all the
total
time.
opposite of what Nadine is.
Nadine's, yeah,
Yeah, and then whereas like Nathan kind of has this dry slapstick humor or whatever that a lot of times it just doesn't really land with me. Because prime example is when I got a good portion of the way in Uncharted, I was kind of like, man, I'm ready for this game to end.
yeah.
Like you guys are starting to wear out your welcome a bit here. Like let's just get this going
Mhm.
because and even with the I remember we was talking about the platforming with in Uncharted
Yes,
4, it wasn't as enjoyable as it was in past games. I
it
can't put my
wasn't.
finger on why it wasn't,
I don't know
but it
why
just wasn't.
this wasn't. Yeah, but in
Whereas
Lost
with this
Legacy,
one,
yeah,
yeah, everything
yeah,
feels better. Like
it
I
felt
have
better.
not gotten to a point yet where I'm like, man, I wish this game would just end. Hurry up. You know what I mean? I'm kind of playing at a slower pace, sorry, because
I am
my
too.
wife is watching me play it, like she wants to see it. So,
Uh,
I'm really,
Taking your
really
time.
enjoying it. Like to me, yeah,
Yeah,
to me, if they make another Uncharted, it has to be Chloe and Nadine. Like they're too good to
very
just
good
not.
characters.
Oh,
Yeah,
definitely better. And Chloe, to me, it's Chloe. Chloe has always been a really, really strong character. So it's easy
yeah,
for her to just get the center stage, and her voice actress is great.
she's
For her
great.
to get the center
She's
stage and
great.
to kind of take control, it's very easy for her to do that. Especially when
Yeah,
you put two people that are nothing alike together, in a life threatening situation, and they need to survive. So it's gonna be magic,
it is
especially with
magic.
Naughty Dog's writing it, and that's exactly what they're
Oh
doing.
man, yeah, it's dope. Yeah, I have to agree with you, man. The guys over at Crystal Dynamics, they should hit Naughty Dog up and
They should take some
do.
notes.
You know what they should do? They should actually do like a cross. Like, I mean, seriously, because there's a scene in Lost Legacy where Nadine asks Chloe about the Drake brothers. They talk about it briefly. Um,
Nadine hates him.
they should cross pollinate Laura Croft in Uncharted. They should, because
That would be pretty cool.
that would be dope, right? Could you imagine if Laura, like, if like, for example, Nadine and Chloe are out doing whatever they're doing, and they're, because throughout the game as you're playing it, Nadine or Chloe takes her binoculars and she's looking and you're looking or whatever, and she hands the binoculars to Nadine and she's looking or whatever.
I don't know if Laura can do anything with Nadine though.
Oh, no, head up now.
Nadine is a hurricane.
Nadine is a hurricane.
And
Yeah,
I don't
she's
think
tough.
Laura can do
Yeah.
anything with her. Not this new Laura.
Not this Nadine, but Nadine, not this Laura, not this Laura. Laura too young right now, but
yeah, she's
it'd
too
be cool.
inexperienced.
It'd be cool to, like, if they use their binoculars and they look out in the distance and they see, like, wait, what in the world? And they see this young lady climbing up this crazy wall or whatever.
That would be cool. That would be really cool.
Like,
That never happened because
that
too
would be
much money
so
involved. But it'd
dope.
be really cool.
Yeah, that
It'd
would
be
be cool.
really cool.
Yeah,
that's
so
for sure. But yeah, so far I'm really really enjoying this. A lot more than I thought I would, to be honest. Granted, I was looking forward to it because it's Chloe. That's my girl, like I said. But I would like for her to be the protagonist if they decide to continue. Her and Nadine. I like to keep Nadine there too.
Yeah,
because they just work well together, and they're doing the same thing that they did with The Last of Us. They put you with really a total stranger, and they allow your relationship to grow with her the same way as at the same time as it is with your in-game character. Because when they put Nadine and Chloe together, they might as well be strangers. They don't trust each other no far, and they can throw them. You know what I mean? And yeah, and so you could see their friendship starting to grow over the course of the game or whatever, and they're trusting each other starting to grow or whatever, and you kind of get the same feeling as you play through the game with them or whatever. So again, kudos to Naughty Dog for some really good writing, really good decision making.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm hoping that later this year we can get some games that are, I'm sure we'll have some experiences that are over the top, like Shadow of War, that'll take the place of this experience.
It looks like it has so much more story in it than the first one.
It does. It looks like they really just, I mean, when you look at the story amount that they're saying is going to be in Shadow of War, it really makes Shadow of Mordor pale in comparison now when you think back, because it makes it very bare bones. But of course, if it's the first outing, Shadow of Mordor was a new IP at the time, right? So you don't want to put too much into it. We got to, budget it, but make sure we don't spend too much because we don't know how well the game's going to do. The game did well, and they are like, it's like
game of the year.
Yeah,
it's game of the year, so they have to. Yeah, but now I do feel like they're making a mistake of showing too much of this game.
I agree.
Because it's like every time you turn around, there's a new 30-minute gameplay, a new 40-minute gameplay. Like, you guys need to stop.
Stop. Yes.
Go away, finish your game, and release it.
Yes.
Stop.
Yeah. And they'll show gameplay that is very reminiscent of Shadow of Mordor. That I'm gonna tell you, I'm watching it, and it doesn't excite me. Though I'm still excited about it because I understand how amazing
the same here
was.
Yeah,
but I'm watching like 30-minute sequences that I shouldn't be watching, but I'm just compelled. Spoiler alerts, but it's like, so what? I watch it anyway, and I'll watch it, and I'm like, y'all shouldn't show this anymore, because I'm that didn't make me say, oh my goodness, I want to write something about that.
It's been the same situation for me. Like, I've seen some stuff that is like really awesome, but at the same time, I'm like, man, you guys are showing way too much. You need to stop. Like, I've actually just stopped watching videos. Like, I don't even care to look at them anymore. I watch the trailer when they comes out. They put out a lot of trailers too, and I'm like, go away, finish the game, because the game was supposed to be out this week or last week before it got delayed.
Right.
And it's like, just go away and finish your game. Shut up, stop. You know what I mean? And look at Ubisoft. Ubisoft's not going ape shit with excuse me language, but they're not going crazy with Assassin's Creed. I mean, they show gameplay at E3, and they show gameplay at Gamescom, but that's been it. They haven't just been going. Before that, they didn't show anything. They didn't talk about this game until E3. And it's like, that's all they've been doing with Shadow of War since they announced it. Basically, they've just been overwhelmingly. I think it's gonna hurt the game more than it's helping it. I really feel like they need to stop.
Yeah, and with all, and I've seen a lot. I've probably seen maybe 3-4 hours of content.
Yeah,
I mean, really,
it's an open world game, so you can just You
Right.
just watch somebody messing around a bit, but
Yeah, but I'm really hoping
yeah.
that it's like great. But I'm still excited for it,
Oh,
because
of course, yeah.
the
It's more
less
Shadow of
challenge.
War.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And it's your
That
experience.
combat is enough to get you in there and get you hooked.
Combat is insanity. It's insanity. I'm excited about the narrative. So I'm looking forward to it, man. So Microsoft at Gamescom, Xbox One X, November 7th. Looking forward to that.
Are
Uh,
you going to be a day one adopter?
oh man, Xbox One X Day One adopter. As of right now, no. As of right now, I would say no. Hopefully we receive some copies, some actual hardware in. Um, but as far as spending Derek Smith's hard-earned $499 on it,
Ain't
no,
happening.
nah, not right now, not right now. No.
I can
I
understand.
want to. I want to. I really want to, and I highly recommend that people do it who are really, love their Xbox. Like I love the experiences I've had on my Xbox One, but when it seems like, well, I've played everything that they're saying that you can play on it, if that makes any sense, right? Like,
Yeah.
like if so, why spend the money on what I've already on games that if Anthem was, in fact, it's like this. Show me something that not even Crackdown 3 says by Xbox One X. Sea of Thieves doesn't say by an Xbox One X. Because when you look at the artwork of Sea of Thieves, that game is on the Xbox One. I played on the Xbox One.
Yeah, exactly.
Um,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? I'll play now State of Decay. That's not compelling me about Xbox One X is he, at all either. But buy for the Xbox One, yeah, oh, absolutely. I want to play State of Decay. So
Hmm.
I'm looking for that experience on Xbox One X that says, okay, I have to play this. For example, when you look at Horizon Zero Dawn on the PS4, that looks beautiful. But when you
Hmm.
see it running on a PS4 Pro on a 4K monitor, it's like I have to get a PS4 Pro for that. It makes you say that because it's exclusive and you have to
It's
get it.
that pretty. Yeah.
It's that pretty. So I think that's that for me. I want a reason to buy it, and right now there's not a reason to buy it, especially with all of these games being on the Xbox One, looking very good. So I'll wait for something to come out that's compelling, that's exclusive, that
Same here.
blows me absolutely away. It's not going to be a multi-platform game that blows me away. It's just not. So, what
I
about
think if
you?
they wait too long, they're going to be in danger of PS5 release. I'm in the same boat. I'm not. I'm not buying this thing day one. $500 is a lot of money for a system that, if I'm being honest with myself, I'm never going to use because it's just not my ecosystem. All of my friends are PlayStation. I mean, I have a few friends, and we just mess around with Gears,
Mm-hmm.
but that's about it. But my ecosystem is by far the PlayStation. Like I prefer everything about it. I'm not. I'm not a huge fan of Microsoft's interface. I don't care for their UI whatsoever. I feel like it's too clunky. I feel like stuff is kind of hidden under layers where there shouldn't be. I'm just not a fan of it at all. So I know if I were to pay $500 for it, it would be a huge waste of money because I'd never use it. Like for instance, now my Xbox was collecting dust until I gave it to my kids, and they turned it into a Minecraft machine. So
Right.
I never used the thing other than when Gears first came out. Granted, I played a lot of Gears, but that was it. So
Right.
if I were to buy one for $500, it'd be doing the same thing. I'd never play it.
Right.
Even though it's a multi-platform game, I'm not gonna play it on there because all of my friends are on
PlayStation.
PlayStation. So
Gotcha.
that's where I'm gonna go is where my friends are. Like
Yeah.
I said, if I was a Xbox gamer, a hardcore Xbox gamer, I'd absolutely buy one.
Yeah.
That power difference, the upgrade, especially
Massive.
being an owner of a 4K TV, hell yeah, I'd buy it.
Right.
But it'd just be a waste for me. Yeah, it'd be a huge waste. I'll probably never buy one to tell you the truth because I feel like um, maybe 2 3 years. Because right now I'm not looking at my PlayStation 4 games and like, man, dang, these games are ugly. You know,
I know, right?
you know what I mean. I don't have that problem yet, so I do feel like in 2 to 3 years, Sony's going to be talking PS5 anyway.
You think
So
two or
it's
3 years, really?
oh yeah, because 2 3 years to put this console at about 7 8 years old, and
True.
there's no exotic tech in this thing. It's pretty straightforward,
Hmm.
and they're gonna be too old. They're gonna have to do something to upgrade, which is why we got the PS4 Pro
Right.
and the Xbox One X. And I feel like 2 3 years would be a good time. I mean that because the PS4 came out in what 2013.
November 2013, exactly.
Was it 2013? So
Mhm.
that's 7 years, 3 years, 4 years, sorry. three
Yeah,
years from now, that'll be 7 years,
that's about
going
right.
on 8. So yeah, that'll be about time to start a new generation or whatever. So I'm thinking PS5 around that time frame.
So 2020,
So
you talking? 2020?
yeah, I feel like
Okay.
somewhere in there it'll be. I think around that time they'll start talking about it. That's when the leaks and stuff will start, and
Right.
probably
Rumors.
2021 they'll go ahead and announce it, saying they'll have like this event. They'll schedule their event or whatever. So I feel like within that time frame, we'll be looking at one, and whatever they do is going to come out and just trump the crap out of an Xbox One X. So
Sure.
and again, I felt like when Microsoft announced this thing, I felt like it was a mistake because you put this out here and then Sony comes because it's not even out yet. 2 3 years, you think Microsoft's going to make another console? I don't think so. Granted, they have the money to do whatever they want,
Yes, they do.
but that just be idiotic to do that. You put this thing out here and 2 3 years later, because if you did that, you would piss off the people that bought your Xbox One X. If you sell this thing and then 2 3 years later you talking about another Xbox, these guys are gonna be mad. Like that'd be a mistake, a huge mistake. Which is
I don't.
why I think.
I think they
Go
would
ahead.
do it. I'm gonna tell you. I think they would do it. I'm gonna tell you why.
Oh
Because
God, they're gonna piss their
they,
fan base off something
but they would do
serious.
it because okay, they came up with the Xbox One S,
Hmm.
right? Which the Xbox One S, and I love how micro. I thought this was very shrewd, but I thought it was really effective. Well, in the scheme of things, it wasn't. But I like how Microsoft positioned the Xbox One X, um, and I like how Phil Spencer positions the Xbox One. Basically, he'll say for the Xbox One S, you know, we compare our Xbox One S to the PS4 Pro. He says that, and I
I've
love
heard.
that. I mean, we understand that the power difference is
Yeah, it's not
crazy,
even comparable. But I've
but
heard
but
that too. I'm like, get
but
out of here,
but
Phil.
it's smart because it has a 4K player inside of it, and the PS4 Pro doesn't. And so they when you say that, it gets those who are keeping score to like feel good about themselves. And I think that's kind of shrewd, but it's a sly body shot, which is cool. But we know it can't compare to the PS4 Pro as far as raw power.
No.
And then we talk about the Xbox One X. Um, Phil was like, well, no, we would compare the PS4 Pro to the Xbox One S, not our X. Putting it in a whole new upper echelon. Granted, yeah, it's more powerful, but at the end of the day, when you see the games, it's gonna be a
It's,
bang
it's,
to bang
it's
for type of
also it's
situation.
also more expensive too.
It's more expensive, yeah. But so that's why I say I don't think I think Microsoft would. Let's say Sony comes out with a PS5 in 2020.
Hmm.
You're gonna see an Xbox soon after or same time, month after, because they won't have a problem with dropping a new system. I don't think they would.
I think they're gonna really piss off their fan base if they do that. Because you'll
Exactly.
have people that yeah. Because you'll have people that have just upgraded to this Xbox One X, and then a year or two later you're talking about the new Xbox that's coming. So people are gonna feel like, well, I just wasted $500.
Well,
Which
it
is
won't be that much then. You know what I'm saying? It won't be that much then. I think because I told you this before. I don't think that the Xbox One X will be $500 for one full year. I could be wrong, but I don't think so.
I think Microsoft is silly enough to do it. I do, man.
Dude,
I really
if
believe they are.
Sony drops the
The
price
fact
of
that
the
they're
PS,
selling it at $500 in general just shows how ballsy they are. I would have
but it is
never.
worth five. Okay. That's a powerful system, though. I mean, just specs wise, I think 500 is a great deal for what you're getting as far as out the box. That machine is powerful. Now, I get it. Granted, the competition is making it hard to rationalize $500 for many people. I get that because the PS4 Pro, I mean, the games are brilliant on it, right? And
It
the
may
games,
be worth
uh-huh.
$500.
I think so,
Actually, the console is probably worth closer to $700, to be
no
honest.
doubt. Yeah,
But the market does not
the
dictate
market.
that.
Yes, right, right.
You know what I mean? Like when
Yes,
your competitor, who's just well, I mean, he's destroying you. And your games that you're showing do not look that much better. Actually, to the average person, they don't look better at all.
Sure.
You're showing these games or whatever, and then you're coming out $100 more expensive than he is, and he's putting out games like Uncharted, yada yada yada,
Sure.
at a cheaper price, and they look the way they look. Are you crazy? Like the market dictates that you do not do that,
Yeah.
and Microsoft's silly for doing that. So I want to.
That's
This is
silly.
gonna blow up in their face. To be honest, $500 is too much. I get it. Things are beast, definitely
Yes.
worth it.
Yeah.
But sometimes you have to undersell stuff because the market just won't allow you to get
Mhm.
the actual value out of it. And this is one of those situations where, I mean, think about it. Sony was selling the PlayStation 3 at a massive loss.
Yes.
Even though it was still really expensive, the console was worth close to $1,000 at the time
At the
because of
time.
all the things that were in it. But they had to
Yeah.
sell it for such a huge loss because there's no way in hell anybody would have paid $1,000 for a console. I mean, they didn't have a choice in that one.
No, right.
Whereas this time they've made more they made better decisions for their business.
Right.
They've made this console is cheaper, it's easier to manufacture, and they can get it in the hands of their people at a faster rate than Microsoft can get their console out there. And so Microsoft's putting this console out here. I think 2 to 3 years we're gonna be looking at a PS5, which is gonna trump this thing clearly because it's gonna be a next generation console. And as much power difference in the Scorpio as it is in the one, there's quite this is the new console.
Next
This is
generation.
this
It
is
really
this is
is.
yeah, this is a massive leap. This ain't
Yeah.
just a marginal upgrade. So they
No.
didn't want to go down that road because they were like, when you do that, you opening way too many cans of worms when you do that. So we just wanted a marginal upgrade to allow our gamers to experience 4K gaming. That's what we wanted to do.
Right.
We're not trying to reinvent the wheel or do all of this. Not yet.
Right.
PS5 will come when it comes. And
Right.
so when they do that, and let's say they get in, they drop this thing in 2020, Microsoft's gonna be playing catch up again, and this time it's gonna be at even more disadvantage because they're gonna get beat to the market by Sony, and when you do that, game over already.
Sony's
You
tough.
don't want to, you don't want the
It's tough.
PlayStation on the market before you get there. You need to be there at or around the same time or before them.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
And that's what I feel like the Scorpio is going to do. I feel like it's going to put them behind because they're
Mhm.
still manufacturing this thing. They're trying to get it off the ground. 2 to 3 years, they're still going to be in this process. Whereas Sony will have had the Pro out for 4 to 5 years, and they can easily pivot and say, "All right, well, we're pushing forward with the PS5 because they didn't make a massive change in the Pro PS4,
True.
in order to develop the Pro. So it's easier for them to pivot and say we want to go with a PS5. Microsoft has made their own damn console. If we're gonna be real here, this thing has got liquid cooling, all of this in it. They've made a whole new console where
It's
Sony didn't really do
monster.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's,
Sony basically just put a bigger GPU in this thing to support 4K graphics. That's what they did. Microsoft's got new RAM, new. They went ham.
it
You
would
know,
have, brother.
yeah,
Yeah.
they did. So it's going to be a lot harder for them to pivot and say, let's make the Xbox 2 or whatever the hell they're going to call it.
Uh-huh.
Whereas the Sony, they don't have to do any of that. They can easily pivot and say, let's push into the PS5 because, it's easier for them. Not to mention, more time would have passed. So
Right.
they're going to get to the market first, and we're going to be having the same conversation next gen. But this time it's going to be just imagine how bad this is going to be for them if Sony gets a year on the market ahead of them.
That man, that would be
That's
interesting.
going to be devastating.
That could be
A
interesting.
year, that's gonna be massive, massive.
I
That
mean,
that
no, at the end of the day, though, swag, I don't think it could be any more massive than what it already is. I mean,
I think it's gonna be
think about it.
worse. I think it's gonna
You
be
think,
worse.
okay, they're
Well,
outside. This is a 40 million console lead. You think they could
and that
outsell
was
it by?
they launched on the same day, basically. Think about this though,
Oh
Derek.
my god.
Put these numbers into perspective. Sony sold 20 million consoles the first year the PlayStation's on the market. A lot of people thought that wasn't possible, and I remember people saying that's insane. And I think I was telling you, I was like, I think they're gonna hit 20 million this year. Because you were asking me a prediction in one of those
Oh
videos.
lord.
Maybe we were just
I,
talking
I remember that
over the
though.
party,
Yeah.
and I was like, I'm thinking they're gonna be between 14 and 20 million. And you were like, man, you
I
crazy.
thought you had lost your mind.
Yeah, you were
Come on,
like,
man.
man, you crazy. I was like, no, I really believe they are. And I remember watching some of
Yeah.
the other podcasts of like some of the bigger outlets, and they were saying the same thing. They were like, there's no way in hell they're gonna hit that number. And
Right.
sure enough, they hit 20 million consoles that first year. Now that's 20 million consoles with their competition in the market with them, putting up some sort of a fight. If they get
Uh,
a year unopposed, that
mhm.
may be 30. That may be 35 million. You know what I mean? if let's just say if it takes off like the PS4 did,
Yeah,
they
that's a
may
strong
put 30.
argument.
You may hit the market 30 million in the hole right off the top, or 20 million in the hole right off the top. Either way,
Ooh, Lord.
that's horrible. And I think that's the situation they're about to put themselves into.
Wow, that's a great, interesting train of thought to consider because if history tells us anything, Microsoft got a head start on Sony with the Xbox 360, and near the end of that cycle, Sony was able to catch back up.
Sony, yeah, I was just about to say the only company capable
Of
of
doing something.
walking you down is
Yeah,
Sony, and it's because of this stable of exclusives that they have. People
right.
will start buying PlayStation because they want to play these games.
Yeah.
Whereas Microsoft has not. They don't have a chance to walk them down because they don't have anything that pushes consoles out the doors the way Sony does. You know what I mean? Like
Mm.
that's a big difference to be able to put games out, and one game will sell 5-6 million consoles for them
Easily.
easily.
Yeah.
And that's probably being generous.
Hmm.
Microsoft doesn't have a single game in their library that will do that.
Not anymore. Not because I think this generation has changed the culture of gaming
Mm-hmm.
because of what's available. Let me ask you one more question, Swag. Let me ask you one more question concerning Xbox One X and its November 7th launch. All right.
Mm.
But let me set the stage for you.
Okay.
So, Mario Odyssey comes out for the Nintendo Switch, if I'm not mistaken, a week and a half prior to the launch of the Xbox One X. Okay. Um, Sony is dropping, I think Gran Turismo Sport is coming out in October, a month before, or I think it comes out in November. Or is it the same day? I
I
think
think it
Gran
may
Turismo
be the
Sport
same day.
comes
Something is coming out the
the
same
same
day.
day as
No, it's Horizon's expansion coming out
the
as
Xbox
the
One
Xbox One
X.
X. Yeah.
Okay, and also Gran Turismo Sport is around that time. I know Sony has some what is it? Some VR games that's coming out during that time. So, question for you: will Microsoft, because Xbox One X is under the Xbox One family, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's all about what the Xbox One is going to do in November because of the Xbox One being on the market for $500. Will the Xbox One, with the Xbox One X on the market in November, outsell both the PlayStation 4, not combined, but individually, outsell the
Mm-hmm.
PlayStation 4 and outsell the Nintendo Switch in November this year? What do you think?
I don't think so because I feel like there's going to be too many bundles out there. There's going to be a Star Wars
Bundle.
bundle. There's going to be a Call of Duty bundle. There's going to be a Destiny bundle. I don't think so.
Mm,
I mean, you're talking about a $500 machine. Not a lot of people have $500 to just go throw on a console, especially majority of people already have an Xbox One or a PS4. So this is a marginal. I mean, not a marginal, but this is an upgrade. It'll be
yes.
the same thing with the PS4 Pro. They're not going to burn the world up the
No.
first month. That's not going to happen. I still don't feel like that. I still feel like they don't outsell them because it's just too expensive. $500?
Yeah. Yeah.
No way.
No way. I asked myself that question on a recent episode on Game Insider Weekly, and my answer to that was I don't. I said that the Xbox One X, excuse me, the Xbox One with the Xbox One X would outsell the Nintendo Switch, but I said that's still a question mark because Mario Odyssey seems to be like all the rave. Splatoon 2 came out in July and
Mm.
trumped the stellar staying power of Crash Bandicoot. Right, Crash Bandicoot has been crushing everything since it launched on PS4 as an exclusive, and then Splatoon 2 came out on Nintendo Switch, and of course Nintendo dropped more consoles out there because they had a little dry spell in the manufacturing, and Splatoon 2 kicked butt. So Nintendo exclusives really, they make a lot of
They
noise.
do
I'm
well,
gonna
yeah.
so I'm gonna say Xbox will outsell. I'm still gonna say Xbox One will outsell the Nintendo Switch in November, but I can't say whether or not it's gonna outsell the PlayStation 4 in November, only because I'm thinking about, the fact that the idea that Sony might just drop the price. Sony doesn't have to drop the price now or say they're gonna drop the price now. Sony can drop the price 2 weeks prior to the Xbox One X launching, and drop
Think
the price
about it. They
by
don't have
five
to do it.
bucks.
Period. I mean, they're still $100 cheaper
It
than their
is.
competition.
It
If
is.
if
Yeah.
they drop the price, that'll just be pouring gasoline on the fire. They could if they wanted to. It
Yeah.
will make things much worse for Microsoft, but they
Hmm.
don't have. They're still
They don't
at a
have to.
massive advantage here. They have the games, they have the visuals, and they have the price, and
Yeah.
that's really been the deciding factor in this entire so-called console war this generation is that Sony has had the games, they've had the visuals, and they've had that price. They've always been at a better price for what they're offering than
Right.
Microsoft has. So
There you have
for
it.
them to come out and say $500 got them bit in the butt the first time around, and it's gonna do it again. And people gave Sony so much hell for excluding that UHD Blu-ray player out of that console. They had put it in, it would have been $500 or more.
Right.
They decided not to do that because I was like, we're not trying to do that. We want
Smart
something. We want for because what they said was they was like, we want to offer our fans affordable 4K gaming. So they
move. Right.
really hammered in $400 and they decided to take it out. And I mean, if the company that owns Blu-ray looks at these numbers and these statistics and say, we don't think it's advantageous to put this in, that should tell you there. That should speak volumes. Hell,
Right.
they own the platform and they decide not to do it because the market tells them and the numbers tell them that everything's going digital. Everybody's streaming. You know what I mean? There's the Netflixes of their world. There's Amazon, and just about everything now broadcasting 4K.
That's
So
right.
it's like that's why I put this in here and ramp up the price another $100, which is taking potential sales away. It's stupid.
Right.
Why are we gonna do that? And then you got Microsoft. I don't, I don't want to say unintelligently gloating on this
Mm.
like it's a plus that they got this thing and their prices are more expensive because of it. Or they're losing
Yeah.
money because of it, whereas Sony's making money on every PlayStation they sell. Microsoft is about to lose money on this Xbox One X.
That's a good question. I wonder.
Everyone they sell is going to cost them because they're selling it at a discounted rate. This is
Yeah.
$700-800 box that they're selling for $500. So they're going to lose money on this thing. Everyone they sell, and on top of that, they are not pushing enough software to make up the difference.
I was about to say that they need to have that attach rate where if you buy an Xbox One X, hopefully you can buy 3 or 4 games with it, right? And that would be
And they won't
that'd
get
be
that. I
awesome.
mean, if you
That'd be
look at the
awesome.
attach rate of the PS4, it's one of the highest in history.
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous, I think.
It's insane. You know what I mean? Like, not to just sound like a ridiculous PlayStation fanboy, but we're talking about numbers
No, it's just
and
objective
facts
numbers. It
here.
is what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, we're talking about numbers. This is not guessing. These are numbers. Like, the attach rate on this thing is insane. Whereas Microsoft doesn't really have a high attach rate because, I mean, there's nothing
Yeah.
there's nothing to really attach to this thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
It's tough.
I hope everything goes well for them. Microsoft is an American company. I would love for them to succeed, but they just do stuff that I just don't understand why they're doing it. Personally, I feel like they should have took this money and instead of spending it on the R&D for the Xbox One X, invest in some developers. Get you a team of developers to start making experiences you can only get on Xbox One. I'm not talking about the coalition with Gears, I'm not talking about Halo, and I'm not talking about Forza. Microsoft seems to devalue the single player experience, whereas Sony basically puts it on a pedestal. Like, here you go. We know you want this. Here you go. Whereas you can't get what name a single player experience that you can really get on Xbox other than Recore. You can't really get very many. They're
That's
really trying
exclusive.
to push multiplayer titles, and it's like not everybody likes that.
Right.
That's a small percentage.
It
Most
is.
people love playing single player experiences on their own time or whatever. And
Right.
Sony puts them on a pedestal. Microsoft kind of seems to devalue them quite a bit.
Right. Man. So it's gonna be interesting to see. What I'm gonna do is at that last point you just made, I'm gonna just kind of like
Taper it off.
yeah, I'm just taper it off. So it's cool. Yeah, this is great. This is sick. It's funny the
I
whole
can't
time.
wait to see this editing.
Oh, it's gonna be cool. The whole time we're talking back and forth, I'm like, what video would I put there? Okay, it's like I'm thinking to myself while I'm
I can
talking.
see the wheel. I can see the wheels turning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's gonna be cool. It's gonna be real cool, man. But yeah, this would be great. And I've never seen like a video like this, right? Where it's raw, it's kind of crumbly, but it's. I mean, the videos are gonna. People go like, "Dang, look at the video," because the video was
How
like
long do you think it's gonna
1080p.
take you to edit it?
Uh, this because I don't have to really cut what we're talking about. I just put that stream
Yeah, you're
in.
just layering.
Yeah. It may take me like 30 minutes. I'm gonna give myself an hour to like edit. Well, to edit
Damn,
and
you
then
gonna have this up on YouTube soon, then, huh?
I'm gonna try to. Yeah, I'm gonna edit it and then I'm gonna render it. Rendering it takes a while.
Yeah, it takes a couple hours though.
Yeah, it takes. Well, yeah, it can. It can. Yeah, and then once it's done rendering it, I'm gonna upload it, and then I'll let you know if it's when it's uploading. And then yeah, throw it in there, and then yeah, it'll be under brain dump on the website. Well, we do a couple of shows. We did. I put it. It'll be on the channel. Well, this will be on the channel. All of them will be on the channel. But I'm after a couple of shows, I'll have a brain dump section where just all these are brain dump videos, and yeah, we'll do that. Crush it, man. Absolutely, man.
Nice.
Yeah,
Can't wait to watch this one back,
yeah, it's gonna be fun, man.
especially with the editing you're doing.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be cool, man. Throw a little music in the background, a couple of videos. Like in my head, I already know where I'm gonna put certain videos because we like I'm gonna put some Assassin's Creeds in there. I'm gonna put some player, I'm gonna put some PUBG, which is that players unknown.
You know what's funny about that one is that PUBG is like it's starting to come out that may not be a console exclusive. That
Yeah, I
that
talked
that
about
game
that. It
could be
doesn't,
coming to PlayStation.
and see and I talked about this on the last show, dog. Like I was excited for that not coming to Xbox. That's so crazy. I'm excited for it not coming to PlayStation.
Yeah,
But now,
Microsoft has something.
yeah, but I'm like, okay, when they're asked, is this coming to PS4? Well, we love our partnership with Microsoft. Dude, are you kidding me? Dude, that's not what I asked you.
You really think they want to miss out on 70 million people potentially getting into their game?
there you go.
Hell
No, like,
no.
hell no. Because they already got 8
Ain't
million
nobody go.
downloads. Their game has
Yeah,
8 million people on PC. 8 million have
that's
downloaded.
insane. Like ain't nobody gonna give Microsoft an exclusive like that. That's too much money.
Unless, well, yeah, because Microsoft throw money at you. Microsoft throw a little bit of money at you
I
too.
don't think it'll be enough. Like it won't be enough to counter a potential 70 million market. Like that's a lot of money. And PUBG is like the shit right now. Like
Dude,
everywhere you turn on YouTube, on Twitch, streaming, that is the heat.
yeah,
Everybody's in love with this game, so
right. That's real talk, man. Yeah,
you have
true
to
that.
put that everywhere. Like you can't just shut that off.
Yeah, so true. And so I don't know what Microsoft's. I mean, they'll say launch exclusive. When you put launch in there, you kind of open it up, right?
Yeah, that's time frame. We know what
Time
that launch
frame,
at means.
yeah, launch,
That's a
yeah.
time.
That's the
That's
time you put,
timed exclusive.
and as hot as the PS4 and the PS4 Pro is right now, and in its influence, it's like and also when you look at the game PUBG, it's not a heavy video, it's not a heavy graphics game. It's not
No,
like
not at all.
visually it's not attractive. What's attractive is the gameplay. But I'm
Yeah.
like, if this was if the visuals were like, is that Anthem? Like if it's Anthem visuals in this type of an open world type of deal, Xbox One X day one, no doubt, no doubt.
Yeah.
I'm on that Anthem, dog. Like Anthem got me sprung. So I'm like, if this game was like that, even with and it was exclusive, oh man, please. But it's not.
I'm
It's like
waiting. I'm waiting on Anthem. I feel
I
like a
can't
lot's
wait.
gonna change with Anthem between now and release.
Think so?
What they show, I do not believe that's gonna be the final product whatsoever. I
It's
don't.
crazy, yeah.
I
No,
don't. I feel like it's gonna be complete bullshit. I feel like what they showed is
really.
complete garbage. Hell yeah. What we get in the final product is gonna be nowhere near that quality.
That
Neither
was
one of these
insane.
consoles can handle it. Neither one of them. Not at a stable frame rate. There's no way.
No.
Frame rate gonna be like 15. That game was just too pretty. It was
It
too
was
smooth.
gorgeous,
Everything was
dude.
just. It
Oh
was too
my
perfect.
god.
It
I'm
was
like,
too
look at this
stage
thing.
demo. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like
It's
it's
like
like
a
no,
tech demo.
get
Yeah, I'm
out of
like,
here.
wait, what? I'm like, wait.
Yeah, when they show me that, now I'm at the point. I'm like, get out of here with that bullshit. Come back with a
Right.
controller and a
Right.
console and show me the real product. I don't want to see that crap.
Mm-hmm.
Ubisoft has burned people over the years for that, where they
Yeah.
be showing all this crap and then downgrade the ever living hell
Every
out of it.
they do it every game. Ubisoft, they're in the
They've gotten away
Ubisoft
from that though.
notorious.
Ubisoft has gotten away from that after they caught so
Yeah.
much flack for it. They stopped doing that.
Yeah,
Like
Watch
now they show
Dogs
you
took a
what you
huge
see is
hit
what
because
you
of that.
get.
Right.
Yeah, it did.
Oh,
Yeah, it did. Like now what you see is what you get. Like they don't do that. Like with Assassin's Creed, they came right out with somebody with a controller sitting down saying, "Yep, this is it. This is what you're gonna get."
that's true. Yeah, and it looks good too. And I'm gonna tell you, it looks good on Xbox One X. But I am looking for it. I am looking
Yeah, it
forward
does.
to all of those. I mean, Digital Foundry is gonna have a feeding frenzy
Yeah,
with
they're gonna go ham.
Star Wars, Call of Duty, Assassin's Creed, all those multiplats that's coming out this holiday. They are gonna be just like side by side them to death, and I'm gonna be like, and
I can.
it's gonna make or break the Xbox One X. I'm telling you. I'm telling you.
Yeah, it'll be. There may be some games where it may be a pretty big difference. It all depends on how much effort the developer wants to put in, and I don't think they're gonna go insane with anything. So I
Yeah.
think it'll be small differences.
Yeah.
Small, like the Xbox One X will probably be running at a higher resolution than because like some games maybe like 1440 on Pro and like 4K on Xbox One X. It'll be something like that, So
Yeah, and depending on the art design of the game, like art design really is some awesome trickery because with art design, it you can look at a game and say, "Wow, this game looks better than that game," but the game you like is at a lower resolution. But really, what you like is you like the art design. You know what I'm saying?
hmm
And that's I think what I'm having to deal with when I look at Forza 7 and Gran Turismo Sport. When I saw Forza 7, I'm like, Gran Turismo Sport ain't gonna look better than this. And then when I saw it, I'm like, wait, hold up, dog. Like that's not 4K. Well, though it's dynamic 4K. And
yeah,
I'm looking at it, dude, and the ground and the trees, and
it's gorgeous.
I'm like, dang, dog, that looks incredible, man. Yeah, it's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. So, um, yeah, we'll see, man. But again, man, it goes back to those. It goes back to those exclusives, especially first party. I'm playing Lost Legacy right now, dude, and it's just messing up my head, dude. Like I'm like,
You about to go get back on it now, ain't you?
oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah, like literally. Well, I'm gonna mess with these videos, but I really want to do like it's so pretty, man. I'm like, and it's fun. Like it's
Yeah,
just
it's
a
enjoyable.
yeah, man. It's just like, dude, and I'm playing it at a slow burn. I'm not playing it like I could have already finished it, no doubt.
hmm
But I'm looking for treasure chest
Yeah,
stuff.
you're just enjoying it.
I'm just enjoying it, man. Yeah, I don't want to hurry up and get my review out. I don't want to do that, because once I write a review, I have a tendency if it's not like a game like Uncharted. Well, I am gonna play that survivor mode. I'm gonna jump on that survivor mode. I'm gonna spend time with this even after the review because a lot of games have come out recently. Like I'm going through Hellblade again right now. I'm playing Lawbreakers every once in a while. I'm loving that. Um, Playing Uncharted, and that's another thing, man. Like all the games I'm mentioning right now are, though they're on PC, they're not on Xbox. They're only on PlayStation. You know,
Yeah, Hellblade is like one of the best games of the year, and it's not
dog.
on there. That's crazy.
It's crazy, dude. Hellblade is phenomenal, dog. It's oh my god, it's dope. And it's never gonna be on there. I mean, it's Ninja Theory and Sony, they got a love relationship, so they never come to the system, unfortunately. There's no way in the world I don't want that game on Xbox One X. Heightened it, 4K, but it's whatever, man. But yeah, dog, I'm about to see what wifey's talking about, man. This is a dope show. I would love to do this once a week with you, dog. Oh man, this would be
Well,
dope.
just hit me up when you get time, man, and we can
Okay.
go from there. I'm usually always available around this time, so
Yeah. Okay. That'd be wonderful, man. Yeah, absolutely, dog. Build this sucker up, man. Heck yeah. I gotta put some of these in the magazine too. That'd be dope. They're like, dude, they put they hangout in the magazine? Like, yup.
I'm about to go find
Yuppers.
something to eat myself. I'm freaking
Yeah, dog.
starving.
Starving. Me too, dog. I am too. But great show, my dude. And I'm gonna text you and let you know when it's up.
Okay, well, I appreciate it, man.
All right, brother.
All right, talk to you later, bud.
Okay, later.